Now, a woman from Stockport says she is devastated that she can't get a drug which she believes will help her with her rare progressive bone disease. It's called XLH and it affects the growth of Sally Hatton's bones and teeth and leaves her in a lot of pain. But the drug hasn't been approved for use on the NHS for adults here in England. Well, before we meet Sally, let's have a look at a video that she's made sharing her experience of living with XLH.
In terms of what it's like living with it day to day, it is just a constant background noise. You feel tired and you feel vulnerable and you feel in a little bit of pain, and I think that can start to translate into how you feel about yourself and how you approach the world. A lot of the medical information about XLH, when we talk about phosphate deficiency and weak bones, it doesn't actually tell you what that's like to live with if your bones are tired all the time and they are weak all the time. People my age just aren't on orthopaedic wards. Apart from having a big accident, you don't have things that I have at my age. It's hard because I've had the same operation a few years ago and we knew the other fracture was there and it might happen. Then when there was an opportunity to speak to people, I did have that fear of, I don't know how much about this I want to know and do I want to open this Pandora's box? But it's just been a very supportive place and the information I've had has been really useful. It does make me think about the future, and I think it was only when I started to find out more about it that I was even aware that it could be progressive and things could start getting worse. It's helpful to have that awareness and it makes me think more about doing things that I want to do while I've got the chance.
Well, I'm pleased to say that Sally is here. That full video that you made, there's more of it, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just explain, why did you want to make that video?
I think the effect of XLH in adults is really misunderstood. So it can have a great impact in children, but as you get older, it's not as known how it affects you. And I think for me, it's starting to have more of an effect, and I realised I just wanted to get that out there and get the information out there.
Now, at the moment, as I mentioned before, there is a drug out there that you desperately want. What's the problem? Why can't you get it?
So from what I understand, it's, as I say, getting across that impact that it has in adults, because it is progressive and it does get worse all the time. And we understand that NICE have to weigh up the evidence and they have to make it beneficial to the NHS as well. But that's what we want to communicate, is the impact of living with this day to day is massive, and particularly the fractures that were mentioned in the video, they have a huge effect and they require surgery. But also because of how XLH impacts my bones, it means that I don't heal as well. The surgeries are much more complex, and that's the type of evidence that we're trying to gather now to demonstrate why it's needed.
And at the moment, NICE are saying that the evidence isn't there, that it can really help patients. Is that correct?
They've shown that the evidence is there and they've agreed that the drug works, which is fantastic, but it's communicating that the impact that this has on people, because at the moment the current treatment just isn't adequate. It doesn't address the underlying cause, and there hasn't been any new treatment for decades really, whereas a treatment like this, without it, we do face progressing in our condition and almost sort of permanent disability in the end without some new treatment.
But you can get it if you're in Scotland.
Yes, it's been approved in Scotland.
That must be so frustrating for you.
It is. It's hard, and I feel as if I'm in limbo at the moment, because I know a lot about the condition and I know how it can go, but even in the past couple of years, for me personally, the progression has been worse than I expected. So I don't know, at the moment, the future is so uncertain, because without this, it's very difficult.
I was going to ask you, I mean, how does the future look for you if you can't get this drug?
I think at the moment the pain's getting worse already, and the fatigue. I've had to change my working patterns even, or we're getting married next year and we've had to postpone the honeymoon because I might need more treatment without a drug like this. And it's so unknown, but what we do know about it is that it will only get worse and only get more difficult, and that's very hard to get your head around. And as I say, at the moment I feel a bit in limbo, because I don't know what I need to prepare for, or if there is this drug. From what we've seen from other members of the community, it's absolutely life-changing and even alleviates some symptoms that they currently feel. So it would make a huge difference to have access.
And the door is not completely closed on this drug. You can still how can you persuade NICE, if you like? You still have a chance, do you?
Yeah, so it's a preliminary decision, and I think it's early next year that they'll make the final decision. So that's what we're doing at the moment at XLH UK, is gathering evidence and just really trying to communicate that day-to-day impact. I think because there's been no treatment, we haven't really talked about it because it's felt like there's no reason it's not going to help, whereas now we've got that chance to have a drug approved.
Well, we'll love to follow your story and wish you all the best as well. Sally, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.